Hey guys, Mapletail here. It was my birthday earlier this week, so today I'll be drawing whatever I want. Let's get into it. I was thinking a lot about my OCs during Art Fight, and came up with a concept I really wanted to try out. The idea was to draw my 3 OC protagonists from 3 different worlds, all together in little AUs. The first is Warrior Cats, of course for Mapletail. The middle image is from my original story/world that I call the Blue Kingdom story, for my OC Adara. The final image is based on the Adventure Zone Bureau of Balance game that I needed to create a character for when I played with my friends, that character being Nyx. I've got all 3 of those OCs in each drawings, in the forms that I imagine they would take in each world. I want to talk about Warrior Cats first. Mapletail of Riverclan remains the same, but to the left we have Nightblaze. Nightblaze is based on Nyx. I chose the name because in Nyx's story she starts out with the name Everdusk, but changes it to Everdawn, when she is unable to unlock the moon magic that her people are known for, but instead looks to the sun, becoming a wizard of the sun. So Night for her birth name, and Blaze for her chosen one. For her clan, I think she would be from SkyClan, as Nyx grew up in the woods and gives me more SkyClan vibes than Shadow or Thunder. Nightblaze's design remains pretty faithful to Nyx's, just adding gold spots to reference the fact that Nyx's hair glows gold when using her magic. Let's move on to the cat on the right, based on Adara. I've actually drawn her as a warrior cat a couple times in the past, for a color palette challenge and just for fun. The name I chose today comes from the former, Duskflame. I also could have gone with Dark Petal from the sketch, but I like Duskflame for her better. As for her clan, it was always going to be ShadowClan for her. Adara lives in a pine forest, in her story, and is an assassin by trade, both of which I associate most with ShadowClan. Her appearance comes from a couple of places. The main colors come from that color palette challenge I mentioned, wanting to reference that, and her eyes too, though I did add pale blue pupils as Adara has light blue eyes. Her spots and ears come more from her story too. Adara is from a race that can transform into big cats and retain some of those features in human form. And for her, that cat is a black panther, hence the dark spots. And that's it for the Warrior Cats AU. Let's skip down to the bottom where Nyx Everdawn's world resides. I made all 3 of them cat people like Nyx here, as Mapletail and Adara are also both cat-based OCs in their own worlds, so it just made the most sense. In this world, Mapletail is called Maple Bright Moon. I chose Bright Moon to match the naming convention that I went with for Nyx, and I like that it sounds like a warrior cat's name. Maple lives in the same village as Nyx, but put down her wand in favor of a paintbrush. At the end of the day, Mapletail is meant to represent me, so I wanted to make her an artist here. For her appearance, she is pretty faithful to Mapletail's design. Just the outfit is new, really. I gave her a sketchbook and apron full of supplies to show her artistic side. And I gave her a shirt the same color as her eyes, as I often do in my art style challenges, where I draw Mapletail in the style of different video games that I've played, with cats in them. With some darker sleeves underneath. Let's move on to the right with Adara. I chose the name Adara Fallen Pine. Again, the same naming convention, and a name that references her home in the Pinewood Pack in my story. I think Adara would still be an assassin here, one that uses moon-powered magic to do the job. Her design here is closer to Adara's original design than the Warrior Cats one was, but still drawing a bit from both. She gets her icy blue eyes back, and her hairstyle. And Adara wears a lot of cloaks, so I made sure to give her one here too. Let's move on to the final part of this piece, the one inspired by my world, the Blue Kingdom story. Calling Adara Pace the protagonist is a bit inaccurate, as it's more of a whole world than any one story with a main character. But she is probably the OC I have written about and drawn the most of, and is the one that is closest to my heart. So there was no question that she would be the one I draw here today. Let's take a look at her friends. Nyx is to the far left. Now, this is actually not a new design for Nyx. You may even recognize her, as she's been on this channel before. I made a short PMV to the song Family Line about her backstory. When I created Nyx Everdawn, it seemed a bit of a waste to work so hard on an OC I'd barely get to use, and I'd grown so attached to her that I just had to make her a Blue Kingdom counterpart. Said version is named Nyx Moonfall. Like Everdawn, Moonfall is a name that she chose after leaving her family, the Starshades, who live on the Isle of Autumn and Spring. Along with Nyx, I also recreated her Taz family in my story. Her mothers Estelle and Nightingale became Kafel and Nightingale, and her siblings Nova and Dove becoming Hemera and Aether. Names changing due to conflicts with other OCs. After leaving her family, she and her sibling Hemera become fire mages, to reference the sun magic that Nyx Everdawn has, and become pirates on the crew of the Silver Crow, where Nyx eventually becomes their medic. As for her appearance, I gave her dark skin with vitiligo to match the black fur and white patches of her original design. Her hair is gold here again to reference the glowing hair of Everdawn, but her eyes change to pale gold instead of the blue and yellow heterochromia that she has, but actually isn't visible in the top and bottom drawings due to the side profiles I chose to draw. Like Adara, Nyx Moonfall is from the same cat race, so she has the ears and tail of an Asian golden cat, specifically the gold variation of this animal. Let's take a look at the final design today with Mapletail. I actually already have an unrelated OC named Maple in my story already, so that was a no-go. I ended up choosing Margot Bridget for her. I liked that it had maple vibes, and matches well with the name Bright Moon in the Taz drawing. I think she would live in the Blue Kingdom itself. I was tempted to add her into the world properly, but I don't want a real self-insert OC there, and this feels a little too close to that for me. Anyways, her appearance is pretty one-to-one again. I made her from that same cat race, but with some human blood, giving her the appearance of more of a domestic cat. Her hair color comes from her original fur color. I'm not even sure what I'd actually call this color. And the hairstyle I just had fun with. Mapletail gives me the vibe of this style of bangs, even though I don't. And I used to braid my hair like that often. Her eyes remain the same, just in a more human style. I gave her pale skin, as she's more or less based on myself, and freckles to reference the pale spots on Mapletail's cheeks. I also gave her some jewelry and earrings, loosely based on stuff I would wear, and a bi-cat shirt just for fun. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. I had way too much fun with this one. OC interactions are my jam, and I think these three would be very interesting to watch together. I hope you enjoyed learning a bit more about my OCs, and let me know if you'd like to hear more. I've got over 500 current OCs, and plenty to say about them, even if I can be a bit shy about it. Anyways, I'll see you next Thursday.